Well, how good is this? Nestled in the eastern suburbs of Adelaide, South Australia, on beautiful Ghana land, is Kensington Baseball Club. It is hot, it's muggy, and that's good because they're tight on the standings and it's tense all the way around. It's Kensington Cardinals and Goodwood. It's the HILLTOP State League Men's Division 1 and Spacequake Sports and Kensington Cardinals bringing you a live stream. Eric Ballnar calling all the action. Michael Dunn made his way down here. Dunny, how good's this? We're live streaming a couple Tuesday Twilight games.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it? So it's good to take it back to the community and show people out there what's going on around the league, and it's good for people to be able to sit at home and watch what's happening and see some of the players that are coming through the ranks that they might see the names on paper but don't exactly know who they are, and they're great views.
Maybe playing for the Giants one day.
They could be playing for the Giants. There's a few Giants guys out here tonight
or
anyway.
Giants too.
Yeah, well, that's true too. So, but look at that view above Kensington's field there. That's fantastic to have the drone go over and show you exactly where we are. It's a pretty state that we get a lot of enjoyment out. Not too much at the moment with what's going on around the world, but a beautiful night like tonight with this great weather. Where else would you rather be?
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people at home in ISO watching this as well. So shout out to you, and thanks very much to Kensington Baseball Club and all their sponsors: William Buck Financial, Turner's Real Estate and Lockheed Turner, AFS Fire Services, Hard Block Bitcoin Exchange. Just go Google that one. You into crypto?
I am into
Just
crypto.
Google Hard Block Bitcoin Exchange. Tony and Mark's Glenunga and Zia's Eatery Glenunga, who gets these teams all well and fed before the game. And it is a very good game to showcase, to be honest, tonight, because we have a matchup between the second-place team and the sixth-place team, but they're only separated by one win. That's how close the top echelon of the competition here in the Div 1 State League really is.
Yeah, and as we've spoken before in the bullpen as well, is that you get it's a game you get further away from this team. So you either get in front of them or the team behind you catches up again.
That's a good point. So Kensington at 9 wins and Goodwood at 8. So if Kensington win, they're feeling great because they have a huge gap over 7th place.
Yep, exactly.
But if Goodwood lose or Kensington lose and say a Woodville or an East Torrens win tonight, then all of a sudden it's like, we're now playing some finals baseball in February.
Yeah, that's right. And as you can see from virtually, West Torrens away out in front at the moment, they're playing really well, good baseball as a group. But then you go from second to virtually down to, as you said, Woodville with 6 wins. It's still, and now playing 2 games a week. It in a week of where you play 3 games, if you win all 3 of those games, all of a sudden you can go from 8th to 3rd.
Well, this is a look at Goodwood, and they are loaded with experience. We're talking about guys that are former Adelaide Bite or Adelaide Giants guys. We're talking about guys that have won College World Series. They've been to a couple grand finals and just come up short recently. They've won a grand final in recent years. Kensington, they've been rebuilding, but their rebuild's kind of been expedited a little bit. They've got a lot of really good kids, and they're sitting second in the standings because the kids are getting it done.
Yeah, and you'd expect it to be a bit of a pitcher's duel tonight with Riley Moore, who they got come over from Western Australia to play for them, the Cardinals, and also Tom Fitzgerald will be on the hill for Goodwood. So you'd expect a pretty tight, low-scoring game with lots of strikeouts. And defensively, if you're not good, this is the games that you get beaten in on a Tuesday night. If you're asleep a little bit early and some teams put some runs on the board, you get caught out pretty quick.
Riley Moore is the pitcher for the Kensington Cardinals. He takes the ball. He's got a 5-0 record. He's got some really nice numbers. He's 5-0. He's got a 1.60 ERA and 0.91 whip. He has kept his team in ball games since he's come over from Western Australia in the middle of November, and he throws a first pitch strike to Owen Hughes, who's been around the game for a little bit now. Owen Hughes, but Riley Moore has been a huge addition that gives them that second legitimate starter to go with Greg Moselle and makes them a bit of a threat here.
Yeah, and Owen Hughes normally hits, with the strength of Goodwood's lineup, normally hits a little bit further down the order. He's either a 1 guy or a 9 guy. And as you said, Riley Moore being 5-0 throws that really good cutter. That's his stock pitch, which gets a lot of strikeouts.
He has been very good, Riley Moore. He's climbed up the statistical leaders, 32 strikeouts and 33 innings pitched, almost a strikeout per inning. Owen Hughes, though, has had a pretty good season, to be honest. Read out that batting average sitting next to Owen Hughes' name, Danny.
Yeah, he's had 31 plate appearances and he's hitting 448. So he's a base running threat as well. So that's why they've got him at the top of the lineup tonight. And he's started off really well, hitting 448. That's fantastic.
Depth is certainly something that's going to be tested, not just with Kensington and Goodwood, but across all clubs in the competition. Is this one rifled down the line? That one goes foul, so it is a second strike on Owen Hughes. But teams really having to take that whole club approach, call guys up from Div 2, Div 3 to get some Div 1 games. I don't think we need to explain that we live in a close contact world. Gallagher at third gathers, throws it across the diamond. Michael Bishop makes the play. It's the first down. Austin Gallagher at third, Kosei Suzuki at short, Nick Platten at second base, Michael Bishop at first. Cooper Peacock is catching. Greg Moselle in left field, Jack Platten at center field, and Nick Carfora in right field. Two pitchers out in left and right field for Kensington.
That's club ball.
The big one for them is they had to replace the production in the second half of the season of no Sean Maple, who is off to college. And he had a big season, or was having a big season, hitting a lot of home runs, a lot of RBIs, some league leading numbers across the board for him. Josh Cakebread swings through that breaking ball, and it's...
Yeah, and you look at Maple's numbers where you take him out of the lineup hitting 378 with 15 RBIs and 6 home runs. That's a big chunk of your lineup that comes out.
Those are pre-Christmas numbers, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty disgusting.
So they have to try and find, even if they have to find, you talk about the...
This one might find a gap. No, moving over there, kind of slowed down. Bishop has to underhand toss to Riley Moore, and he just makes the play over at first. That one looked dangerous, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yeah, the infield here is a little bit slow, so the ball sits up nicely for the infielders to pick it up. But just back on to Maple, it's almost a Moneyball situation where you need to find 2 or 3 guys to replace Maple's numbers by himself, because you're not going to find one guy to do it. So you need to find 2 or 3 to get those numbers and try and keep Kensington at the top of the ladder.
I talked to Austin Gallagher at length last night about where he thinks Kensington is at, and he touched exactly on that. Is he can't replace Sean Maple, but what you got to do is you got to ask all 9 of your guys to do a little bit more each, and that's going to collectively, you can't replace them, but you can make up some of the difference. Riley Moore, the batter. Yeah. And he said that Maple's a big personality. He's loud in trainings. He's a leader of the group. He's only 21, but he said he was impressed by some of the younger guys, like your Nick and Jackson Plattens and your Michael Bishops, who have stepped up even more as leaders to try to fill that void that Sean Maple has left. This one hit hard over towards short in a diving attempt at that by Kosei Suzuki, but Riley Moore is aboard, and it's a place that he is comfortable. So Riley Moore gets a hit off Riley Moore.
It just sounds strange, doesn't it?
It does sound so strange. It was bound to happen, these two facing each other. Stephen Welsh, he's up to bat right now. He's been playing third base for a long time. He leads the Adelaide Bite in all-time games played. Adelaide Bite Giants, that franchise. We came back from a weekend, Michael Dunwood, where we saw a lot of young kids getting the time to put on the jersey for the first time as 17, 18-year-olds. This is a guy that is no stranger to putting on the jersey and representing his country, his state, his team, his club at any level.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, and he's a worthy advocate of baseball in South Australia, and all-round nice guy as well. So it makes it easy to like Welshie and what he does and how he goes about it. And just quietly, I think Josh Cakebread playing his 200th tonight as well.
His 200 for Goodwood.
For Goodwood.
Yeah.
So
how many senior games would Josh Cakebread be playing overall?
He's played a few. He's
pretty old.
He is, mid-30s. He's getting to that mid-30 range. So you'd say he'd have to be up around about 500 or 600 by the time of that Port and all the other games he's been played in. So bite games as well as a younger guy.
Welsh will be a tough out. It's interesting to see here Riley Moore. He's going to have a good challenge about him today, I am sure, because Riley Moore hasn't played too many top 6 teams. I do have the numbers for you at some point on Riley Moore versus other opponents, but he's won 5 games, but yeah, they haven't all been against top 6 teams. I know he's played like the Northern Districts of the world and stuff like that. So he was excellent on the weekend, or versus Sturt last week, on Tuesday night in a twilight game. Riley Moore was phenomenal, but now he's getting a test versus some of the top 6 teams to see how he goes there now that he's eased into the season. But a 1.6 ERA is going to be tough to beat, and he finds the strike zone a lot. That one over the plate for another one. Steph Welsh, a tough out.
Yeah, and that's where he'll get a lot of game time now, having that two games a week scenario that you don't have a choice but to play on a weekly basis instead of throwing in innings here and there.
Welsh walks. Yeah, they'll be managing that with Greg Moselle and Riley Moore. Moselle, Moore, that'll be kind of alternating starts, and then using guys like Nick Carfura to kind of fill in those gaps to try to round out that rotation. It's very much simulating what finals baseball might be like come March when you have to play 3 or 4 games in a really short amount of time.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and you just need depth because you can only throw one game a week, and it makes it really difficult if you don't have enough pitching depth and you have to get guys come through your Division 2 team. It really works out where the stronger clubs sit.
Matt Hutchings up to bat. He's got a few games with the Adelaide Bite as well, and what a season, I should say seasons, Matt Hutchings has had for Goodwood since moving over to that club. This year hitting .426. As a team, Goodwood are hitting .328 as this goes right up the middle. Platten scoops a flip over towards second. They make the play. So Goodwood get Welsh and Moore aboard, but it was both with 2 outs. They can get the force. And hey, when you limit the best hitting team to no runs, that will work pretty good.
That's great. And short games on a Tuesday night as well. You play 7 innings or 2
hours.
Yeah, so it's imperative you get some early runs and put some pressure on the opposition, especially on these Tuesday night games. As I said, we've seen over many years of baseball that these Tuesday night games, you see a lot of upsets. So these are the games that some of these lower clubs, they
saw that with Adelaide and Woodville last week.
They play to win these midweek games more than they do in some cases on Saturdays. So,
well, let's take a look at the Zia's Eateria. Well, I can't even say that. Zia's Eatery, Glenunga. Zia's Eateria. That sounds better.
It is, yes.
Zia's Eatery lineup for Kensington Cardinals. Kosei Suzuki leads things off. Nick Platten batting second. That middle of the lineup, Austin Gallagher, Mike Bishop. Normally you'd see Sean Maple there. Instead it'll be Riley Moore and Greg Moselle batting 5th and 6th. Nick Carfura, Cooper Peacock, and Jack Platten rounding out the lineup. Defensively for Goodwood, you have Stephen Welsh at third base, and then you have a young guy, Jack Bushell, playing over at shortstop. No Creswell in the lineup. Josh Cakebread in his 200th game for Goodwood at second base. Michael Gain, he had a home run on the weekend at first base. Tom Feebig out in a left field, and then that is I've written down Kensington's lineup in center field and right field, so I'll get back to you on that. Who's playing there in center field? We have Matt Hutchings, of course, and right field, Owen Hughes.
Owen Hughes, correct.
But the man that we got to talk about is the guy that's undergone, not I want to say a transformation because he's been working hard for a little bit, but his numbers have certainly transformed on the mound. Tom Fitzgerald, he's facing his former team at his former club. He was with Kensington, now he's with Goodwood, facing his former team tonight, and his numbers have been ridiculous this year, Fitzgerald. Yeah,
and he went away on the weekend with the Giants as well. So, and he should be reasonably fresh. He didn't throw a lot of innings over there, so he's probably pretty ready to rock and roll tonight, and hopefully can throw a complete game for the Indians and get him home. If he throws well, I'm sure that'll go pretty close to happening.
Well, I mean, when he throws, you don't need too many runs to support him. He does have a 3-2 record, so he does have the 2 losses, but he's got a whip of 0.88. He's got a 1.512 ERA. Goodwood actually have a 2.04 ERA as a team. That's the best in the league. Kensington's number 2 at 2.64. But Fitzgerald, his ERA, his whip, his strikeouts are up. His walks are dramatically down from what they were last year through the first 40 innings. We had him on the show not long ago, Fitzy, and you couldn't really be happier for a guy having this success right now.
Yeah, you work at your craft, and you don't. Again, you have those old sayings that the harder you work, it sooner or later it comes off. It can't not come off if you're doing the right things. So, and this is a proven fact of Fitzy doing such a massive amount of work in the winter that he's come out in the summer and he's playing really good baseball.
But he's facing his former team and Kosei Suzuki up to bat. Kosei Suzuki, a member of, well, your team, the Marlins in Super League. Kensington played a huge part in that Marlins team winning, whether it be Kosei Suzuki, the Plattens, Gallagher, Bishop. They were the middle of the lineup. Nick Carfura pitching. Riley Moore pitched in that game. Kensington member Tamara Harkin was the head coach. Like, this is a team that is, that Marlins championship winning team was littered with Kensington players.
Yeah, there was a few guys in the lineup and they all did really well, so.
Well, Kosei Suzuki gets aboard. Kensington entered the game, Dunny, with a 9-3 record. Of those 9 games, 8 of them they scored the first run. So they're 8-0 when they score the first run, and they're 1-3 when they don't score the first run. Kensington, if you take a look at their wins, there's a lot of lopsided ones. This is a team that jumps on you early. They jump on you often, but the real test is if they go behind. But when you guys got Kosei Suzuki who gets aboard, it makes it easy to score those early inning runs. Well,
yeah, he can fly a little bit. So he hasn't stolen a lot of bases, but
no.
And he doesn't walk a lot either. He's only walked 3 times, so that's his 4th walk for the year. As a leadoff guy, his numbers are pretty low in those sort of areas, but he's aggressive. He gets a lot of hits. He gets on, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't run somewhere early in the count here and try and move himself over.
Nick Platten up to bat. He's hitting 302. Gallagher 357, and then Bishop 378, followed by Riley Moore 300. These are the next 4 batters that do the damage in the lineup. Gallagher hit a grand slam at 5 RBIs in his last game. Michael Bishop leads the league in RBIs. So this meat of the lineup is something that Fitzgerald will have to navigate. Yeah, does that work for you for some of these RBI machines in here? Bishop leads the league in homers with 7. Gallagher tied for 4th with 5. At RBIs, Bishop tied for the top at 20. Gallagher starting to creep up in the RBI department too when you put 5 on the board the other day.
Yeah, you've got to be tight with this middle of the lineup, as you said. That this is the part of the lineup that wins a lot of games for him. So Fitzy really needs to bear down here, and he's done a good job at keeping Suzuki safe at first base. So he's done some pickoffs and stopped his feet a bit, so it's good.
Pops straight up in the air.
It's just a pop fly.
Be very playable for Platten. Or not Platten, sorry, in Bushel. Jack Bushel makes the play. It's 1 down. So Platten retired, brings up Austin Gallagher to the plate. He's hit 5 home runs, and he's started to heat up. Gallagher, by his own standards, probably had a bit of a slower start in those first 3-4 games. But Austin Gallagher is the head coach of this team, the architect of this program, and he's been tasked with a bit of a rebuild in Kensington. And he's put together a very competitive side with a couple veterans mixed with a lot of kids. Kosei Suzuki's going to steal. He didn't need to slide, but he's in there in scoring position. What's it like playing at this ground, Dunny? It's a bit of a shorter porch out here. It probably suits guys like Bishop and Kensington, and also Gallagher. Gallagher from the left. It's not a long way to go down that line.
No, I'm sure he chose his club for a reason.
It's amazing. You bring over imports every year, and it's amazing to see what imports end up sticking and staying here for a long time. I'm sure when Austin Gallagher came here 5 years ago, you said, hey, you're going to be here for 5 years. You're going to have a partner that's here, and you're going to be the head coach and an architect of this program here. What do you think he would have said?
Yeah, okay. Maybe. But he's
pretty happy here.
Yeah, he's fallen in love with the place, so it's
That one, a bit of a jam shot. Fitzy underhand toss. It does advance Suzuki over to 3rd, but Gallagher kind of nubs out, let's call it.
And he's also just been named the assistant coach of the under-16 state team as well, so that's a good honour for him as well, and we congratulate him on that position where he'll assist Chris Sims and Justin Clark on the travelling team to somewhere in Queensland. I'm not sure where it is yet, but that's in July for the under-16 national, so that'll be an awesome experience for him to get to be part of that as well.
Yeah, Gallagher, Kensington through and through. He loves this club. He loves that baseball community in South Australia in general, as Fitzy has this one right up on Michael Bishop. He's the RBI leader, tied right now at the top. A knock here would give him sole possession of the lead. Michael Bishop wasn't even a regular Division I player just a few years ago. He really burst out in the middle of that 2019-20 season. In 2021, he was a leader and named captain because he's a true club guy. And this year, he's taken that reins even more. He's a cool rising star story.
Yeah, but this is where Fitzy can be a little bit fine with him too. So, the part of the lineup that starts to fade away a little bit here as well. So, if he happens to walk Bishop here, it doesn't really matter much.
Yeah, you don't want to take your chances with the RBI leader.
No,
maybe Riley
right.
Moore, the pitcher.
Exactly. You let someone else beat you. So,
or you throw that and he swings through it.
Yeah, that's a little little sinker there. It's a good pitch there by Fitzy. He's in Bish's head a little bit now, thinking, where's this one going to go? But I wouldn't be surprised if something low and away. Nope, company in. Good pitch.
And he gets the call. No, he doesn't. Fitzy was starting to walk off.
Yeah, I don't think he swung at that. I think they were trying to get the umpire just to make make a decision that wasn't there. So put a little bit of influence, but didn't work. So Fitzy gets back out there and throws another one.
How's the sweat on the face of some of these players?
It's pretty warm.
39 degrees in the day today. It's not that right now, but it's still well over 30, enough to cancel some trainings around the place as this one goes down low. Full count.
Yeah, it's still 34.
Yeah, at 6:30 p.m. or whatever it is.
But it's beautiful where we're sitting in the shade here, Eric. It's fantastic.
Oh, I'm having a great time. Good place to watch a ball game. Yeah. That one down low. And he's saying he swung?
Yep.
It was going to be a drop third strike, and then they got him down on first base. So Fitzgerald gets his first strikeout. The side is retired. It is 0-0. You're watching Goodwood and Kensington, some State League Baseball Live, brought to you by William Buck Financial and Kensington Baseball Club.
We're getting to know Darcy Berry, new Adelaide Giant. Darcy, thanks for coming on a walk in the indoor facility with me.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
When did you start playing baseball?
Started playing at West Torrens as a little peewee sort of wedgie when I was about 7 years old. Playing T-ball all West Torrens and growing up there.
Do you remember that first moment you fell in love with the game? You knew this is it.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, it was always a decision between soccer or baseball because those were my main two passions. And then I probably decided when I was about 14 that I actually wanted to play baseball as a career and followed on.
Did you used to go to the Bite Giants games growing up?
Yeah, always out there at Norwood at local games, chasing foul balls and always getting those little helmets as the ice cream cones.
Yeah, I remember you've been a junior member for a while before coming to the games.
Yeah.
What about some of your favorite players growing up? Idols in South Australia?
Yeah, idols I always had three. It was always Nate Van der Linden, Mason Pickard, and Curtis Mead.
And what do you reckon, what does it mean to you knowing that, you got to wear that Giants jersey before and you get to wear it on the weekend again? What did that mean to you to put on that Adelaide jersey?
It meant so much to me always growing up and being the biggest fan of the Giants, and then finally getting to play for them is a huge privilege.
All right, what kind of music do you like? What was your most Spotify Wrapped? What was your most listened to song?
I think it was FN by Lil TJ.
And if you could go to any sporting event ever right now, can't say baseball or Giant, it could be...
Say what the first pitch was. Well, over the plate for a first pitch strike, Riley Moore back in Kensington Baseball Club. Kensington proudly bringing you this live stream thanks to all the good people at Kensington Baseball Club. Nice little spot they got down here. I was checking out their new batting cages they've got right by their club rooms.
That's awesome. Great job. Yeah, they've done a great job there. So that's all been new and upgraded. So they've helps out all of their teams.
Michael Gain up to bat. Another little chop ball just goes foul. But Darcy Berry, you saw in that little clip before, made his Adelaide Giants debut over the weekend. All those local players getting an opportunity. They're back at home. We're back at home in 2 weeks down here. It was a cool atmosphere to be a part of on the road, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fun to be over there with the young kids and teach them how it all goes about. And some of them did really well, and they still understand that there's a long way to go. But it's a good start to some of their careers in the uniform, and they thrived and just frothed on the atmosphere and the day-to-day process of what you need to do as a pro baseball guy. And it's good for them. They learn a lot from it.
Talking to some of the kids, they were saying, it was a really, really eye-opening experience for them on the road. And like you said, Dunny, they know that there's a bit of work to do on what they do. But what was cool for me to see is they kind of picked up that Giants pride almost right away. And Tank said it great in that post-game interview or the post-game speech to the team where they played the right way. They were hustling down the lines. They were beating out double plays. They were giving themselves more opportunities than they were probably afforded, to be honest, to try to win those ball games. And that was through the back of their own work and attitude that they put to the game. Yeah,
totally. And, we have a culture that we live by with the Giants, and we've grown that over the last 4 or 5 years that Tank's been involved with it. So, and you either fit into that culture and play the way we want you to play, or you don't play.
Platten makes the play over towards first, and it's 2 quick outs for Riley Moore. Yeah,
but it can only improve their club baseball as well. So they can only get better, and they can take things back to their club to build a culture there as well, to say, hey, this is how we really should be doing this. It's not some of the stuff that we shouldn't do, and I think they want that experience, and they want that authority to go back to their clubs and help their club become better as well, which is what we're all here for.
Definitely a team to get around. They're all these locals playing just on 3 weekends coming up, so head to adelaidegiants.com.au/tickets. There is pretty strict COVID capacities that we can actually let in the ballpark, so certainly encourage getting out there and supporting the locals. Tickets pretty affordable. Would love to see everybody out there. Peter Pegg back in the lineup?
Yeah, he got struck down by some
close contacts.
Close contacts, yeah. So he's back in the lineup tonight. So that strengthens up Goodwood's hitting lineup a little bit tonight as well, with a couple of other guys out. So a good young kid coming through the process, and he'll be part of the some type of Giants program down the track. I think in a younger sense of people that they're going to get through go through the program. So. And there you go.
He gets a good swing at the bat, and that's going to go right up. Oh, cut off at the left side by Greg Moselle, and it would have stopped a double.
Check his hamstrings out there, I think.
That was good range there from Moselle.
Old boy Moselle might not be able to walk tomorrow after bending over to pick that one up.
Take a look at the replay there as you see.
He certainly stopped a double though. He got over there quick and got the ball in fast to turn it a sure double into a single.
Yeah, you saw that on the Turner's Real Estate replay as he was coming around the corner. He's just like, maybe pump the brakes a little bit here.
Yep. And you'll get that if you're rounding first base and the left fielder or the outfielders have picked it up and already thrown it in, you'll stop every time because you just don't know where the ball is. So it was very well done there by the veteran, as we could say, in Moselle.
It's weird seeing Moselle play in the outfield.
It is.
But he can hit pretty good, actually. He competes well at the club ball level. Having a guy that's so experienced in the ABL going to be a huge asset for Kensington making a run at it. I mean, all of a sudden, Kensington at the beginning of the season, the chatter around the community was like, finals might be a push. Now it's like, can they finish top 2 and have a double chance in the playoffs?
Yeah, and if Riley and Mosey can get them through more innings, then there is certainly a chance of doing that. And there's an easy 1-3.
Makes the play on Bushel. So first time through the lineup, pretty clean for Riley Moore. But you're totally right, Dunny. Take a look at their team ERA that Kensington has. When you're only allowing as a team ERA of 2.58 earned runs per game with a whip, just basically one base runner per inning they allow.
Yep.
That's hard. Like, how do you score against a Kensington team? That adds up against pretty much anybody. Yeah,
it does, and it gets you through to the finals, which is where you need to. That's obviously the first step of it, and then it gets hard when you have to play 3 games.
It does, and
and Moselle can only throw 1, and Riley Moore can only throw 1. So you need to find, you virtually need to go to your whole bullpen for the rest of the series, and you need to hope that those guys get through a lot of innings in the first 2 games for you as well to keep you in it.
So getting Riley Moore over for this season in the middle of October or November, whenever it was, that was huge for them because it changes your whole complexion of how you approach a final series. Because you can probably throw them game 1, take game 1, and then you just need to find a way to win
game 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in that my opinion, they couldn't have won it without having a Riley Moore in their lineup. They didn't have enough pitching, so that certainly helps them now with getting him, and he'll just chew innings up, and guys won't score a lot of runs off him, especially at club level. So, as you said, you need to, if he can get through that first game and win it for you, then great, and you try and get through game 2 and pick up the win in 2. The problem is if you don't get it in that second game, then you've got to try and find someone for the third. So, and some of the other clubs have got a little bit more depth in their pitching, but Kensington's hitting lineup is certainly strong enough to win them 2 games in a row.
Yeah, well, Kensington had a pretty good win over the weekend. They won. Well, look at that Sturt game that they recently won when they won 2-1 on Tuesday or whenever it was. They were down most of the game in that, but when you have Riley Moore that all he allows is just 1 run, all you need is 1 inning of scoring 2 runs, a couple hits here and there. It allows you to just hang in games.
That was on a Wingrove home run too, I think.
Wingrove hit a home run in the first inning. They fell behind 1-0, and they came back and they won it in the 6th or whatever it was on the twilight game. And now Riley Moore jams one over to left field, and the pitcher can hit. Riley Moore, he's aboard with a base hit.
So that's good. You get none out, and you get your pitcher can get a hit. That helps.
Well, the second straight time they've got the leadoff runner aboard. They did it in the first inning. Kosei Suzuki walked. That's the first hit that Fitzgerald has allowed. Now can they move him around? Greg Moselle, Nick Carfora, 2 pitchers by trade probably are now going to have to do some damage.
3 pitchers in a row there in the lineup. Well,
pitchers who rake could have a whole new meaning with this part of the lineup.
I'm not sure Riley runs overly well, so you wouldn't expect him to be stealing any bags anytime soon. I just don't think he's. Just looking at the numbers there, no, hasn't had any yet. Oh, there's another
How
one.
about this? The pitchers are getting it done right now for Kensington. Riley Moore, pitcher, single. Greg Moselle, pitcher, single. And it's the pitchers doing the hitting for Kensington. They got 2 aboard. That's cool.
Fitzy doesn't know where to throw to him. He's never faced him before. He's used to facing position guys, not pitchers.
Now Nick Carfora, pitcher.
Another one, yeah.
So Carfora, you'd think, is going to be that guy, like, you look at championship winning teams in the past, you know, that West Torrens did it with Nate Vanderlinden as probably a pretty good example. Matt Watkins for Goodwood when they won it. When you're playing a 3-game series, he might be throwing 2 innings in game 1, 2 innings in game 2, 3 innings in game 3. Just that kind of jack of all trades bridge guy almost.
Yeah, you've got to have those sort of guys. A guy that can do everything you need him to do in any sort of situation, and Kafura's that guy for Kensington.
They're even asking him to hit 7th. Well, you don't have to hit the ball hard to get a base hit, as we've just seen. But Kensington versus Fitzgerald, you don't think a pitcher of his caliber, you're going to get too many glorious opportunities.
Right.
They're already 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Now they've got a runner on second here. And he swings right through it. Cooper Peacock standing on deck.
Yeah, runs are going to be a premium here tonight. I don't see it being a high-scoring game with the colour of pitching that's on the mound for both teams.
And he strikes out looking. Dunny, walk me through this playing a twilight game, because you look at it, you've got patches of sun, and then over the plate you've got shade.
Yep.
And then over the mound, half of it's in shade and half of it's in sun. When you're playing, what is that like?
Extremely hard to hit.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's hard to pick the ball up because it goes out of your line and then goes into the sun and then comes out of the sun again. It's really tough to hit.
I mean, it's the same for everybody.
It is, but it's different when you throw low 90s.
Reaching down, this one goes up the middle. Cakebread steps on 2, over for 1. They allow 2 hits to start the inning and get an inning-ending double play. Some clutch defense for Goodwood. Take a look here at the Turner Real Estate replay.
Yeah, good play there by Josh. Plays it himself, knows that he's got plenty of time with a catcher with not a lot of wheels up, hitting, and makes an easy double play to get Fitzy out of the innings. And as I said, runs are a premium here, and it's probably a situation where Galley may thought of bunting Kafura in that situation just to get a run, just to try and get guys in running position.
We'll pause for about 30 seconds, and we'll be back after this. Back in the broadcast booth, Eric Ballnar, Michael Dunn calling the action. Tamara Harkin, Super League winning manager. Also a member here at Kensington Baseball Club. Quite involved all over the board, but representing the Northern Marlins from Kensington. You won the championship, Tam. First off, thanks to Kensington.
We, Eric.
Yes.
You, both
we
of you,
won
the
the
general manager.
Boss
Yeah,
here.
but she's the Kensington girl right now. You
Oh,
know?
right. My bad.
Representing the club. Tam, thanks for having us down here at Kensington, by the way, on a nice Tuesday night.
Nice Tuesday. It's 41 degrees.
That's ridiculous.
It's hot.
Beautiful. We're in the shade. It's fine.
Owen Hughes leading things off. Riley Moore going well on the mound. Tell us about Riley Moore. Like, how did he end up coming over to Kensington, and why did you feel the need to bring him over?
Well, Riley and Austin played together in not in Germany, in Europe. They played, I think,
somewhere.
Prague Baseball Week. So always sort of stayed in contact. And Riley's been living in Australia for 3 to 4 years now. He's been over in Western Australia.
Wow, that is going to hurt a lot. Cooper Peacock.
He'll be singing soprano tomorrow, won't he, hey?
He will be singing soprano.
Yeah, this might give us a little...
His dad lost his leg not long ago. Cooper might have lost something else.
So while we've got a break, get back to your story there, Tam. What have you got for us?
Yeah. So he'd been living in WA and just always in constant contact with Gully. So he, just said, why don't you come over to Adelaide, something different. So Riley come on over, and he's been a phenomenal addition to the club. He's really sort of bolstering that pitching rotation that we've got. And, you know, obviously with Tuesday nights now starting and having to go sort of 2 games every week, he's been a really good addition to the club.
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier about that. From my point of view, if you didn't get a Riley Moore, I don't think you could have won it. But now you're a chance.
Yeah,
big
absolutely.
Chance.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got really good pitching depth with Riley, with Moselle, Nick Carfora, who was one of our Super League guys, and Toddy Marshall. So, and then we've got some younger upcoming guys as well.
Ali Tanner, right?
Ali Tanner.
Who is this kid?
Ali is
young, right?
Very young. He's 15.
As Hughes jammed just a little bit. This heading over towards right field. Might be tricky in the sun. That one luckily goes foul for Kensington.
Yeah, so Alatana, he won the under-15 league medal last year. Has been sort of a leader in his under-15s, and now is playing under-17s, but is playing a lot of Division 2. And a couple of weeks ago against Northern Districts, he made his Division 1 debut on the mound, and did really well.
How old is he, Tam?
15.
Wow, that's great.
Maybe someone for you, Giants coach, to make a note of. Ali Tanner.
Well, I'm sure he's in the eyes of the guys to make some sort of, he'll be in some sort of program, whether it be, HP with Baseball's SA or the junior, the Giants program that we'll get into running in the next year or so. So they'll come out and just keep getting better and better, which is what we want for the state.
Over towards short. Suzuki makes the play across the diamond.
He does. He doesn't miss many there.
You're a big Kosei fan.
Love him. I love him.
Because he came over from Henley and Grange. So what's he brought to the team that Kensington was, I don't want to say missing last year. So let's just say, what did he add to the team?
I mean, that kid's he's got all 5 tools of baseball. Like he's defensively for Kensington, he's been outstanding. He's hitting well. I mean, his first at bat against Henley and Grange was a first pitch homer. So, and then
that was,
followed that up the second time that we played Henley and Grange at his first at bat as well. So, but unbelievable speed.
Josh Cakebread hits a ball hard over towards right field, but that goes right over, and Nick Carfora makes the play.
And he's just fit really well into the team as well. Like, the guys love him. He's got an amazing family. His mama Kiko has now moved over as well, so she's playing in the women's team.
Is she?
Yeah, she loves it. She's awesome. But just a really great family.
Well, Riley Moore versus Riley Moore, round 2. Riley Moore, the hitter for Goodwood, had a single his last time up. Riley Moore, the pitcher. He got that loud pop out, remember, in that all-star game versus the Giants where Riley Moore took him to the warning track?
Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Calling Riley Moore to Riley Moore.
Michael Bishop scoops, and he'll flip it over towards first, and a very nice play. So another 1-2-3 inning, and Riley Moore, the pitcher, humming along quite well, which seems to be kind of par for the course. And it remains a no-score game as we go to the bottom of the third. Well, this live stream definitely wouldn't be possible without all the Kensington sponsors helping out. William Buck Financial. They've been around for a while helping out the team, haven't they, William Buck?
Yeah, they have. And Adrian Frinsdorf is also on the board, and he and many of the Frinsdorfs play sort of throughout the lower divisions as well.
Turner's Real Estate, that's Lockie Turner, isn't it? That's
Correct.
his family?
Yep.
And then Zia's Eateria, I was told that they're the ones that provide all the food and stuff for the games around here and help stock up the canteen. And
They do. Zia's Antonia Marks.
Yep.
So Matt is doing amazing things for our club, and they really help us out a lot in terms of the food, and we get Thursday night dinners, and so Susan and I are generally in the kitchen cooking those for the boys.
See, this is cool. Like, I mean, obviously, I come from. I'm sure Gally would have said the same, similar sort of stuff. Like, I come from North America, where you might play sport in high school, but then after that, it's like maybe just social competition. You don't really know who's in the lineup. There's no clubs that you can go and play to. Like, as soon as you're 17 years old, if you're not playing on an elite team, you're just not playing at all. Here, you can kind of play at all divisions in baseball in South Australia, but the Thursday night club across all in South Australia seems to be pretty cool if you're watching from overseas, wherever you're watching. It's like everybody gathers. Sometimes the teams are announced for the weekend. Usually canteens run some, I don't know, some specials. What's Kensington's, as Jack Platton's about to come up to bat, what's Kensington's Thursday night like down here?
Thursday nights is fun. It's it's mostly the Div 1, 2, 3 guys who train. We also have the juniors that train across the club. So some of the juniors do stick around, but everyone sticks around for dinner, and usually it's like something pretty good, like steak and chips and salad.
Nice.
There's no chicken schnitties here.
Yeah, club rooms are closed right now with COVID across the state, really, but that's a shame because club nights are fun nights.
But we are playing. That's the main thing.
Are.
We found out over the weekend, Canberra's whole season's been cancelled. They're not playing at all. And Melbourne have only played 4 games. So that's where we're in a lucky situation that we are still playing.
Which is great because, it does so much. Like you talk about the community, and you can feel it when you come to Kensington, just the setup around here, especially on a weekend. But, you take away that community aspect, that does a toll on some people. So it's great that we can still go about our business here as Jack Platton swings and misses.
And it helps when you're winning.
It helps when you're winning in Kensington. It's got to be a positive vibe amongst the club right now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like it's good at the moment, and we're just really, really lucky that no one in the club really has been that affected by any of the restrictions and COVID. So we're just sort of pushing through and touching wood. Yes,
touch wood.
Let me find some wood.
But I guess it's going to be a test. It's probably a matter of when that happens, if someone's a close contact or whatever it is. Is Suzuki over towards second. They make the play. So is Kensington going to be well equipped for if a couple people jump out of the lineup, it's next man up kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of juniors that play in the Division 2 side, and then we've also got guys ex-Division 1 guys who are playing Division 3. So if need be, we can pull those kind of players up. But Baseball SA have also been really gracious in having some allowances to make sure that we do get teams out on the park.
What's Kensington's sort of plan in terms of development of the younger kids? You don't have to go into detail with it, but I'm assuming there's a bit of a program in place with juniors coming up, trying to work their way up the ranks.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, that's Austin's or Gully's focus.
Nick Platten up to bat, by the way. Sorry.
It is. Not to be taken for Jack. No, that's what Gully's all about. Is really sort of looking at a youth, pushing that youth program. And making sure that we've got really good coaching for the youth coming through. And we've got some really outstanding players coming through from under 15s right through to your under 17. So that's kind of his focus at the moment.
This one hit up the middle. So Kensington continued the trend of being able to get a runner on base each inning. They had leadoff ones in the first and second. Now with 2 outs, they have a runner aboard, but that might be all they need because it's Austin Gallagher and Mike Bishop coming up to bat, and one swing of the bat for either of these guys, and that might be all that Kensington need realistically.
Yeah, as I said, you don't need to score many tonight to win, I don't think.
Gallagher starting to heat up.
He is Grand Slam last week, so.
I'm sure this is a matchup that Austin Gallagher would be really looking forward to, facing Tom Fitzgerald, who played for Kensington last year, and he gets to go against his former coach, and Gallagher was looking for some damage on that swing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he wanted to send that one over the houses. But, they've got more history outside of Kensington as well, because the two of them played together for Mainz Athletics in Germany a couple of years ago. So they do have a lot of history. They lived together, obviously, over there and played a whole season.
And everybody in South Australia knows each other pretty closely and are mates off the field, but I'm sure the competitiveness in Gallagher right now to want to do some damage to Fitzy here is right there. And you know what? Fitzy probably the same, wanting to get him out on a good diving effort. Josh Cakebread, what a play. robs him of a base hit to take it away and keeps it a 0-0 game. We'll get the replay on the other side of the break. It's Kensington 0, Goodwood 0. We'll be back.
Well, the point ultimately is to play some baseball. You know, a lot of us, it's been a long while since we've been actually on a field, so just to be able to have an opportunity to go out there and, you know, compete with our mates is exciting, but it's also going to give some young kids an opportunity to compete at a higher level than they've been at, so it's exciting. You know, the goals themselves will be, you know, relative to each individual. There'll be some guys with a little bit more experience that might be refining something more, you know, specific about their game, but some of the young kids, as I mentioned before, just the goal for them is just to be exposed and almost be a little bit vulnerable and be better for it at the back end.
The goals with the pitching staff is to show them how we kind of do things at this level and, yeah, expose them to the culture and the processes and the philosophies, and then hopefully they can impart it into their club ball experience after this and be better off for it.
In terms of expectations, a lot of it's not going to be necessarily results based. You know, whilst it's good to win every game or win every pitch that you go out there and, you know, when you're competing against another team, but ultimately it's just, you know, to gather as much experience as we can and learn from it.
The biggest thing with the younger demographic we have here, I think, is developing routines and understanding how to evaluate performances and then just build off that.
Hopefully it's special for them. I know it's really cool for us to have seen a lot of these kids come through, and I know for myself, having a few of them in junior programs when I worked down at Baseball SA, it was really cool to see them in the same uniform as us, and hopefully they use it as a springboard into the future.
Riley Moore back on the mound going against Steph Welsh, middle of the lineup coming up for Goodwood.
Oh.
What happened there? Something flying all over the place. Steph Welsh. Here's a look at this play, though. How is this on the Turner's real estate replay? Josh Cakebread.
I don't reckon too many other second basemen would have got that.
The old dog, hey? The old dog. Yeah, very good play there by Josh.
Stephen Welsh, long-time player. Probably a good measuring stick game. I know the Cardinals are in second place, but anytime they're playing, it's the same for Goodwood. It'd be a measuring stick game for them, too. Anytime you're playing a top 6 team, I'm sure you're kind of evaluating where you're at when you're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Goodwood, you know, they're always going to be playing finals, and they're always going to be around there. So
that's the reason teams only score 26 runs, because that sort of defense that Goodwood have with the guys up the middle and Welshie at third. So you've got an all-Australian infield there. So it's that's the reason they only score 20. They've only had 26 runs scored against them in the first 14 games.
Suzuki makes the play again. And this game actually is going to exactly the script that Austin Gallagher was talking about last night. And to your point, Dunny, he said exactly that. When we were kind of asking about expectations for this game, he said, well, it's going to be really hard to score a run because both teams traditionally and this season especially play really good defense. So if you're going to score a run, it's not going to be because another team makes an error in all likelihood.
And I think looking at the stats, I think Kensington...
There's a big swing, though. Hutchings going back. It's going to the track, and it is gone. Off the tree and onto the scoreboard. Matt Hutchings with the long ball puts Goodwood up 1-0. Right on cue as we're talking about needing to earn some runs. Well, commentator's curse would have been an error, I think, Dunny.
Yeah, but you commentated curse against Kensington.
Yeah, it's true. I did commentate, yeah. Either way, Matt Hutchings got a pitch that he liked, and he deposited that over straightaway center field.
And that's where I mentioned earlier when Kensington had runners at first and second with Gunny there, just grounds out to Suzuki, easy out.
Suzuki's been busy.
But when Kensington in the innings before had runners at first and second with none out, it's a situation where with Kafora up, you have to consider maybe putting a bunt on just to move runners over to try and just score a run, right, and put the pressure. In club ball, it's different. I mean, you know, you have situations where you can, but Tuesday night games, they're over in a second.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, hang on, we've lost, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to put pressure on early, and it was an early situation where he, I'm sure Gully had some consideration about doing it, decided not to, but runs are so premium with, you've got the two best pitchers.
Feebig right back to Riley Moore.
Great catch.
That was awesome. A line drive right back to him. Drops the ball off. How you doing, Riley Moore?
He's taken a couple of those this year, actually.
Yeah.
This will look good on the Turner's Real Estate replay.
Bang.
Matrix Styles moving back.
Yeah, and like you were saying as well, Donny, like Tuesday night games, they are over quickly. So you've got the pitching's different as well. So you don't have to look for maybe 2 or 3 pitches. You can have guys that go the whole distance on a Tuesday night. So.
And you've got the two, probably, 2 of the top 4 to 5 pitchers in the league going against each other. And you've got to expect it's going to be 2-0, 2-1, 3-2. It's not going to be 10-1. It's not going to be 10-5. It's going to be low scoring. So take them where you can, put some pressure on the opposition, put a run on the board and make them try and catch you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Sturt last week, Goodwood this week, Henley and Grange on Thursday. We're going to find out very quickly, I think, where Kensington are at. They've already won one of those games, and they're in a one-run game here, but we're going to find out what kind of deal Kensington are right now, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And that Thursday night is kind of throwing the spanner in the works a little bit for some of those clubs.
Yeah.
Well, the top 6.
Yeah, top 6.
They're the only thing. They're the only ones that are playing.
Top
right?
6 only, but it's really going to test the depth, and I think it's going to give a good sort of a good view of what's to come for finals time, because obviously finals are best of 3, so that's where you need to have your depth. So having the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then obviously we played last Saturday as well because we've got Adelaide on this week after the Henley and Grange game. So, and they're not easy games as well. There's some pretty decent clubs that we're playing.
Yeah, and Goodwood are in the same situation. They play you tonight, and then they play West Torrens on Thursday, and then they play Southern Districts, who are the top 6 team beater at the moment, aren't they? They're doing some good work up there as well. So it's an interesting week of baseball in Adelaide to see where teams come out of it next week.
Michael Bishop, big first pitch swing. Look, one of my favorite expressions in sport was from Herm Edwards in the NFL when he said, "You are what your record says you are." And right now, the record for Kensington is they're 9-3, and they're sitting in second place.
10-3.
Sorry, 10-3. My fault.
Don't let the super coach correct you.
Sitting on top or second place in the standings, having a great season so far.
Yeah, and someone like Michael Bishop up to bat, I think he's second, maybe first or second in the league for RBI. So
tied first, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's tied first now. Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
He's been hitting really, really well, and Riley has also been hitting. I mean, the Henley and Grange game that we played a couple of weeks back. I mean, if he could have got the 3-2-1, all 3, he would have got him. He won that game off his bat and pitched I think a 2-3 hit game.
So if you are what your record says you are, and you are 10-3, and you're in second place, and if the season were to end today, you'd have the double chance in the finals. That's all great, but let's rewind 3 months ago when we were kind of previewing the season, Dunny, on the show. We were talking to the different coaches and people around the league, getting a strong poll, just asking the question, where do you think teams are going to be at? And probably most people were saying Kensington, they weren't saying Kensington were going to be bad this year, but they didn't think Kensington, they kind of thought they would be in that middle kind of range, most people, kind of in between 5th and 8th, somewhere in there, depending who you talk to. I said 4th, by the way.
You had 4, yes. You had out of the 8.
I did my picks pre-Riley Moore. Because, as I said, I don't think you could have got through with just Moselle. You couldn't have got through with one pitcher. So,
you're going to stand by it.
Oh no! It's if you get players during the year, obviously some things can change and help you out. So and Riley's certainly done that. So and you're okay. You get through the first half of the year because there's no Tuesday night games, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got to play Tuesday night games, and you need that second pitcher.
Oh, and that's a big swing. Riley Moore, the pitcher, goes yard. It's a home run for the pitcher. This ball game is tied. What a game he's having.
That was smashed.
Right as Michael Dunn is saying, hey, I think Kensington really benefited from Riley Moore. Riley Moore goes yard, literally into somebody's yard over in left field, and it's a 1-1 game, and Kensington's fired up.
He obviously heard us talking in the background and just came out and performed exactly when we needed it.
He said, yeah, you're right.
Here, watch this, crack.
That was sick. Look at the replay. Like I said, literally into somebody's yard.
Oh,
that's on the street.
Yeah.
You could tell by the crack of the bat that one was certainly hit well.
So the pitcher, Riley Moore, is 2 for 2 with a home run and a hit. It's a 1-1 game. So 2 home runs, not much room for error between these two teams, and we're back to where we started from.
Yeah. What are we, 4 on 4?
I don't think people could have predicted things like, Riley Moore coming through. That might have changed it. But obviously, Sean Maple and Gallagher and Bishop are having a big season. But around that, the team's playing some solid defense. Kosei Suzuki, probably that little dark horse player that's moved over here. Was Kensington expecting to be second place after this time? Or what was the expectations going into the season?
Be honest.
I mean, yeah. I sort of had really high expectations, to be honest, because I've seen what Galley can do with guys, and I know we had Kosei coming over, and we've got the 2 Sprat boys who've also come over from Adelaide Angels. Just because of prescribed points, they can't.
Well, that's
going to
be some good depth if something happens with COVID close contacts too.
Correct, we've got that, and both of those boys can throw a little bit. Not specifically in Division 1, but I guess if it came down to that COVID situation, you've got 5 guys down. We do have some extra arms that we can go to.
I think, like, when I've talked to Galley, it's kind of been this almost similar conversations you have when you talk to someone like Tyrone Hambley over at West Torrens. It's like, if you just try to focus on making the best players they can possibly be, the results are going to take care of themselves.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
So if a premiership happens because of that, well, oh my goodness. Josh Cakebread. Another diving stop over at second. This guy keeps getting it done.
Soon?
He'll need
Would you like him to retire mid-game or something here?
Possibly. No.
Josh Cakebread slides over, makes the play. And it is a 1-1 game. We'll have an interesting last 3. Tam, thanks so much for joining us in the broadcast booth tonight. We really appreciate it. Dunny and I will take it home for the last 3 innings.
Me.
We'll see you. Go cheer on the boys, Tam.
I will. See you, boss.
See you on the other side, everyone.
See ya.
Back at Kensington Baseball Club. Thanks for putting on the live stream here. It's a battle between 2 teams that might very well collide in the finals later on. Maybe, dare I say, even a grand final potential at some point. They're 2 contenders. Kensington won, Goodwood won. A home run to Riley Moore, the pitcher, not the hitter. That wasn't the Riley Moore I was expecting to hit a home run today.
Definitely not.
And Matt Hutchings for Goodwood make it a 1-1 game, and a game that's just humming along. Round the grounds, Henley and Grange in Southern Districts. This one is Peter Pake over towards Gallagher, and he gets up and makes a nice play. Look at the replay here, Dunny.
Yeah, good to get over, picks it up, does the full turnaround and throws a strike to first to get the first out. That was a great play.
As Jack Bushell comes up to bat, Henley and Grange Southern Districts tied at 1. Southern Districts, we keep doubting them, and they keep saying, "Yeah, well, we're going to be competitive here."
We'll prove you wrong. We'll prove you wrong.
What a great story, Southern Districts. I mean, that was a good chat on in the bullpen, wasn't it? It's over to third again. Gallagher trying to dive for that. Jack Bushell's aboard for 1. He's thinking about 2. He's going to stay aboard. Just quickly, by the way, Sturt lead East Torrens 2-0. Golden Grove winning 15-3 over Northern Districts. Don't have the scores for Port versus Adelaide and Woodville versus Glenelg. I'm sure somebody will message me, please, what the scores are, so I can realize. So if you know those,
get that on Game Changer, guys, so we can keep everybody up to date with what's happening around the league. Back to the top of the lineup here with Owens. Oh, and there's another hit. That's probably
down the
a double.
line, and now Jack Bushell, he's going to have a think as he gets to third. He's going to be held up. So it's 2 straight hits. Bushell to third, and Owen Hughes has a hit. He's got a double. Well.
And that opens it up a little bit too, doesn't it?
Now you've got the meat of the bones of the lineup here, and Josh Cakebread in his 200th club game for Goodwood. Riley Moore and Stephen Welsh. Double play isn't on the cards here. Riley Moore's been having a great game with the ball in his hand and with the bat, but this is probably the highest intensity moment for him.
Yeah, well, you know, the infield plays up here. They make Josh hit the ball in the outfield, but he'll look for a pitch to try and drive, and if nothing else, just try and score a run to get Goodwood back in front again. And that's a perfect example there that it's a pitch he can't drive, so you just let it go, and Rev calls it a ball. So it puts him in front in the count, and he'll look for something middle up and try and drive it to the outfield somewhere.
Game number 200 in Goodwood red for Josh Cakebread.
And we think somewhere around about 300 for Port as well, so it's probably 500 total for Josh in the A grade. Just A grade baseball. Doesn't include any bite games he played.
Or those junior games growing up. And big name, the Cakebread family name.
Yeah, been around a long time. A couple of generations, 3 maybe. So it's a big opportunity here for Josh to try and put Goodwood in front and go a long way to helping him win this game.
Swings through that. Now, Caps medal votes at the end of the year are always seem to be dominated at the top by guys that are throwing and hitting at the same time, or you're just statistically dominating, hitting a bunch of home runs, whatever it is. But you need those two-way guys. Josh Cakebread seems to be around that number 5 mark every single year when it comes to those votings, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very consistent. He hits, mid 300s every year, makes no mistakes in the infield. He's just been a consistent player for whichever club he's been with as long as he's been in the league. I'd like to see his stats over the last 10 years. It'll be pretty consistent across the board with everything that he does.
He's probably actually having a down year by his standards this year, and he's got an on-base percentage of like 410, and he's hitting 333.
Which is crazy to say.
I say that in a
it?
complimentary way for those all my critics like Scott Pratt watching at home. Cakebread's probably taken away a couple base hits today. He's also turned a double play that's taken runs off the board. You could probably say he's directly accountable for at least taking one off the board defensively. And this one back up the middle. They're going to hold the runner and get him out. Kosei Suzuki had moved over to make that play. Take a look at this. This one was couldn't worked out better for Goodwood.
No.
Or Kensington, sorry.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Goodwood weren't going on contact there to try and... they'd probably score that run if he... if Bush takes off straight away and it gets... I mean, the only problem was Bush was unsure whether Riley was going to field that or not, so that makes it a little bit harder. So try and get Riley Moore to get Riley Moore. Here we go again.
1 for 2 hitter Riley Moore is, and he swings at the first pitch and pulls that over to the right side. Kensington trying to, what's on the line tonight? They're trying to keep alive in terms of staying in that top 2 spots. If they could hold on to that, that would be a huge win at the end of the year. There's a lot of games to go. We're at about the halfway point of the season, but they'd be fighting for a top 2 spot right now. Goodwood are 4 points behind with a game in hand. So Kensington can move 6 points clear of Goodwood with a win today, whereas conversely, if Goodwood win, they're 2 points behind and have a game in hand and it beat Kensington twice. So Goodwood all of a sudden can really catch up to them. This is a gap-setting game for both of these teams, and probably one that you look back at the season saying, damn, we needed that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important.
And a Twilight game live stream thanks to Kensington and Goodwood. And a big swing and a miss. Riley Moore gets Riley Moore to swing. Goodwood get runners on first and second. They can't cash them in. Both teams have kind of done that now. Monkey see, monkey do. And it stays 1-1. Well, Denny, again, the sponsors coming up big for Kensington this year. There's a look at their big ones, AFS Fire Services. That's their Shane Bennett. And
it is Shane Bennett,
It is,
yes.
and Benno has been getting more involved this year at Kensington. Again, he's been involved for a long number of years at a high level. He's a premiership-winning coach, obviously being in the big leagues, but good to see Benno after a couple years back heavily involved around the ball club. William Buck Financial, Tony and Mark's Glenunga, they've been a big sponsor for them for especially for this year. Hard Block Bitcoin Exchange and Turner's Real Estate doing all the replays. Zia's Eateria. I keep saying that, Zia's Eatery. Big shout out to all the Kensington sponsors. Really can't make the club without the wider network.
They make a big part of paying the bills. So Kensington appreciate all the money that comes in from those sponsors to help the club run.
Kensington have a cool little club down here. It's a nice little feel. It's in the middle, literally, of a neighborhood. You saw that on those drone shots earlier in the game on the foothills. It's an interesting place to play and come to. Every club has a bit of a quirk to it, and I really like coming here.
It's funny you say that, Eric. When I was playing football, like Aussie football, back when I was younger, we played football on this field.
This field here?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in the winter. So when the baseball wasn't here, there was football here, and we played it. We played a couple of games. It was a very, very small field, but we definitely played football here.
Because they play footy now on the other field down below the car park.
Yeah.
And they have the junior program. Like, they have the Kensington Cardinals Baseball Club football club now.
Yeah, right. Okay.
The under 13s or whatever it is in football.
Yeah,
they have a football club here.
Yeah, you played from sort of the bottom corner there was the goalpost for that end of the ground in the right field corner. And,
What?
And the left field corner up there and a little bit further back was the goalpost for the other end of the field. So it was kind of, you'd never know looking at it, would you? But we played football here.
That's ridiculous. Their club rooms are pretty fun too. It's got that old school kind of feel to it. I actually had my 30th here at Kensington Baseball Club. It was a good place back when there wasn't COVID cases everywhere for everybody to be down there and just have that real good club room community feel for everybody. They did a cool community day last year where they had like bouncy castles and food trucks and a whole club day down here. It was an awesome time.
And that's the sort of thing that is, that's what community baseball is all about, and getting the kids down here and having a fun day and making a real joyous time of it.
Well, it was like a games day, so they were playing like board games and foosball and pool inside and games outside on the field and slip and slides, all that kind of stuff. So it was like adults and kids. Everybody was just kind of getting together and playing games, which I thought was really cool. Kensington did a really good job with that, and the food trucks were cool down here.
Oh, that would have been great.
Cooper Peacock up to bat. Grounded into a double play. He's came over from Henley and Grange just before Northern Districts, but he strikes out. Fitzy moving along pretty well. He's allowed 4 hits on the day, but one of them being a big home run, and he's allowed just the 1 walk, and that was on the first batter of the game. So,
how many punch-outs?
He's had, I'll tell you, that was his 6th punch-out. So it's kind of in line with his stats. He's allowing just that 1 walk or hit per inning pitched. He's allowed 1 run through 4 1/3 innings, which is getting close to a sub-2 ERA, and it's kind of a statistical on par for what Fitzy gives you, and that's a competitive start. And that's what Ben Wigmore, the coach, was saying before the game, is when Fitzy's on the mound, you're going to have a chance to win every single game because he just competes and he's just good.
Yeah, and teams don't score a lot of runs. And, if Goodwood score, with Fitzy on the hill, if Goodwood score 4 or 5 or more, they'll win every time. Because, as you said, Fitzy's competitive. He doesn't give up a lot of runs. He gets a lot of strikeouts. And if Goodwood can score some runs, they'll win more games than they lose with Fitzy on the hill.
Only West Torrance have scored more runs than Goodwood, by the way, this year, and no team has allowed less runs per game than Goodwood. These are actually teams number 1 and 2. 2.17 average runs against versus 2.54 runs against. And that's almost exactly their ERA, so that also tells you they're not allowing a lot of unearned runs.
No, and they don't. That's why their defense is so good. A couple of guys out there missing tonight that are not normally playing, but they've got good replacements for those guys, and they still play good defense.
Jackson Platten puts it out towards right field, back at the wall, but it is caught. And that's the second out. So back to the top of the lineup with Kosei Suzuki coming up. Just didn't quite have enough. Owen Hughes making the play. Kosei Suzuki's got a couple home runs this year. Coincidentally, they've been against, he's got 4 on the year, but 2 of them have come against his old club in Henley and Grange. He's hitting .250 on the season. 4 extra base hits total.
And one thing I think Kosei has to work on is that his on-base percentage at 316. For a leadoff guy that can run a lot, you've got to get more. You've got to get more walks. You've got to get on more. Your on-base percentage has to be up near 450. So then he can steal 20 to 25 bags a year.
Well, you saw him steal already today.
Yeah.
He's got that potential.
That's exactly right. So which means he just needs to understand as he gets older his strike zone, and he'll get a lot more walks and be even more dangerous on the bases.
Both teams have a bit of speed out there. Kosei Suzuki's one of them. Over at Henley and Grange, Jack Partington has 16 stolen bases. Darcy Berry has 12. Matt Hutchings, though, and Peter Paik each have 7 stolen bases, and they're tied for third. But what a gap after that.
Yeah.
However, West Torrens as a team have the most stolen bags. Kosei Suzuki out towards left field. That drops, and it kind of fools the center fielder. Kosei Suzuki at second, and that's where he'll stand. So another inning, another runner in scoring position for the Cardinals, and Nick Platten is going to have an opportunity with a runner on second.
That's a good at bat there. An off-speed pitch, stays back on it and hits the ball to left centre, and Hutch overruns it a little bit, and Suzuki comes up with a double.
Well, this is a big at-bat, knowing that Austin Gallagher and Mike Bishop are coming up behind you.
Yeah, 2 out, which obviously helps Goodwood a little bit. They just need an out here, but yeah, you don't want to be putting.
That's a check swing. Kosei Suzuki has enough wheels to get over towards third, so a base hit will score Kosei. It's a tight 1-1 game. Goodwood had a home run from Matt Hutchings in the 4th to make it a 1-0 game. And then in the bottom of the 4th, Riley Moore for Kensington hit a solo shot over the left field line. Those are how the runs have been scored. Other than that, it's been a pitcher's duel between Tom Fitzgerald versus former club and Riley Moore on the mound for Kensington. Here's Platten.
Way in front now, that's 0-2. So Fitzy can work, he can work his best pitches here and try and get Platt to swing at a bad pitch that normally he wouldn't swing out under a little bit of pressure.
0-2 pitch to Nick Platten. He swings at it, but it gets in behind him. Suzuki's going to get there and score, and Platten will get to first. That's not how they drew it up, but they'll count it the same. It's a 2-1 game for Kensington. So they get the third out, but it's a dropped third strike, and it's a 2-1 game.
And that could be the difference.
That doesn't happen too often for Goodwood, does it?
No, not a lot, not a lot.
And it keeps the inning going with Austin Gallagher up to bat.
Yeah, as I said, it was a good pitch by Fitz. He got the pitch he wanted to do, swung at a bad pitch, and Riley just couldn't keep it in front of him there, and unfortunately goes to the backstop and scores a run. Could be extremely important in the end of the day.
2-1 lead now for Kensington. And Fitzgerald very concerned over at first base with Platten. Gallagher a chance to put some distance between Goodwood and Kensington, and he hits it hard up the middle, and it finds its way to the outfield. Runner will stop at second, so runners on first and second now for the RBI leader, Michael Bishop, coming to the plate. He struck out twice, though, Bishop.
Yeah, so he's probably due to get a little bit of wood on something here, so it'll be interesting to see how Fitzy handles it. He's done well the first 2 times he's faced him, so let's see what he brings this time to the plate.
Crucial moment in the game for both these teams. The drop third strike that would have got Goodwood out of the inning allowed Kosei Suzuki, who advanced to third on another free base.
Yep.
Bishop, another big hack. Riley Moore, who hit the home run, standing on deck. Goodwood given life to a dangerous Kensington middle of the lineup. It's a good pitch from Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that sinker that falls away a little bit. It's a very good pitch and hard to handle as a hitter. So it's not a bad take there by Bish because he can't hit that pitch. So look for something now in his zone and try and drive in another run.
Two count coming. The captain, Mike Bishop. And the 10-3 Kensington Cardinals sitting equal second in the standings. Looking to get distance between them and a team that's chasing them. And it's a third strikeout for Mike Bishop, but the damage really was done on that drop third strike. We've played 5. Kensington lead Goodwood 2-1 with 2 to go.
I'm Jack Partington, play for Henley and Grange Baseball Club and play outfield.
I'm Geordie Gross and I'm a starting pitcher for the Henley and Grange Baseball Club.
Just been playing a lot of baseball, went over to college for 2 years, had a good time there, came back, moved to Henley and Grange with Geordie. We wanted to play together, so we played together, been playing Super League, so it's a lot of baseball, been really fun. And I describe my player as very energetic, just want to be out there, just want to win. Not a big statistic guy, we just want to win the game, do whatever it takes to win the games. And
the last 5 years, I've been at Henley and Grange for the last 3 years, and before that I was out at Woodville Baseball Club and just chipping away at it. And now I'm looking at Henley and Grange to take on a flag, hopefully. Working hard, I guess, over the last 3 to 4 years. A lot of people out there helping me over the years, with like Josh Tolles and the Troy Scobles and the Wally Marks, and just taking as much information as I can in and try and better myself out of it.
It's big being around people you love playing with, and it's really fun being around all the guys, and being around a good culture makes a huge difference with how you're playing. We try and put in work most days, we try and get to the gym most days, try and swing as much as we can, keep that arm active.
For me, it's normally in the pre-seasons. I really like to knuckle down and really work hard, and I was very fortunate this off-season to work with Josh Spence and with my craft a bit. And
yeah, always been a fan, it means a lot. Yeah, it's really exciting.
There's Jack Partington and Geordie Gross as we welcome you back to Kensington Baseball Club. 2 guys that have been grinding away for a long time in club ball that finally got their chance. And Geordie Gross had a 1-2-3 inning for the Giants on the weekend. Jack Partington was 2 for 4 on Sunday. He had 3 hits on the weekend, 3 RBIs, played some center field.
Yep.
It was great to see those club ball guys get their chance, and I encourage everybody to go support them. This is a cool chance you have this summer down at West Beach.
Yeah, no, they did a great job for us, and we're fantastic.
Stephen Welsh lines it over towards left field. That's 1 down. And it just really is a cool opportunity here. I mean, we like to think ourselves as South Australians. I can say I'm South Australian now. I am Australian. As people that get out, they support the community, they get around the boys, they help try to get people going, follow their dreams, all that stuff. We have a great opportunity to bond together as a community and make it a rockin' atmosphere. Don't even worry about the Giants. Worry about it for them, those guys that get to play in front of hopefully a sold-out crowd of that 1,000 people in the COVID capacity on Friday, Saturday night, having a great time. Matt Hutchings has a hit. That's his second one of the day.
And they love it. The guys love it. They love being around it. They love being around the culture and the atmosphere, and the learning process is ginormous for them. If nothing else, the learning process is
so give them a sellout.
Yeah. So come on, we encourage you all to come down there next week when they get back from Brisbane and cheer them on. And we're playing Melbourne, right? Is it Melbourne? Yeah. So
Jen Beacom will be on the list.
And we always like beating Melbourne in any sport. So let's get down there and beat them at baseball.
Michael Gain, he's up to bat. He had a 3-run home run on the weekend, and it was a pivotal one for Goodwood. Riley Moore wanted to pick up with Michael Bishop, with Matt Hutchings standing at first. Hutch can fly. He led the league in stolen bases last year. Jack Partington was second, but Hutch now 9 behind Partington right now.
That was really close at first.
That was. I don't know if we have a replay of that.
I reckon he was nearly out. You reckon? Yeah, I'll be surprised. That was really close.
On the Turner's Real Estate replay, which we don't have, but shout out to Turner's Real Estate. Cooper Peacock gets down and blocks that. These are the close games that are going to be chalked up as good learning experiences for both of these clubs as you start to amount towards finals later on.
Well, this is a finals-like game. This is what it'll be. You know, there'll be low scoring. You take your opportunities when you can, try and score runs.
Hard hit ball to left again, and it's back-to-back hits for Goodwood. Hutchings to second, Gain to first, and now with one out, it's runners in scoring position. Goodwood had runners on first and second, 2 out in the first. They had a runner on first in the second, a 1-2-3 inning in the third, that home run in the fourth, and they had runners on first and second and later second and third and 1 out in the fifth. They couldn't cash anyone in. Now they have another opportunity. Can they take advantage?
Yeah, they're running out of opportunities, so they need to do something fairly quickly. Otherwise, they'll run out of time.
Tom Feebig is the one, and that one's thrown into center
Hutch.
field.
Sleeping. My Lord.
Hutch could have gone.
Absolutely could have gone.
That was just a lob to nowhere, and Hutch dove backwards.
Wasn't even looking at the play. Again, another critical moment. Runners at first and third. Feebig hits a ground ball, tied a game again.
Or a fly ball.
Doesn't matter what. There you go, it's just an out.
Well, that fly ball wouldn't have moved a runner from third, but he's jammed over towards first, and now it's 2 out.
But Feebig has a different at bat.
Yeah.
With the runner at
good
third,
point.
right? So he has a completely different mindset of all he wants to do is put the ball in the outfield to score a run. There, he doesn't have that same mindset.
Well, now the kids have to do it. Peter Paik, who's got a hit, and Jack Bushel, who have a hit, due up. But Paik with 2 out and a runner in scoring position, looking for something to drive to try to tie this game. Riley Moore providing a challenge to this Goodwood team, which leads the competition in batters average.
And again, here's a situation where the pitcher's way in front can work around to different things and can throw a pitch to try and get an easy out. Ball in the dirt, high up and in. There it is down. Good block by Peak.
And now he might have a runner and a run down. They might get Hutchings, who had to scamper back. The throw wasn't quite there, but Hutchings was caught in no man's land.
Not sure what was going on there. Crazy. Still a good pitcher's count here, so Riley can, again, throw that same pitch again or...
Chopped up the middle. Suzuki has to make the play. It's down in the dirt. It gets away. Runner going towards home. It'll be a play there. And a miscue has now scored it for Goodwood, and somehow Goodwood have runners on second and third. So just like Kensington in the last half inning, with 2 outs and the third out right there for the taking, a costly mistake has cashed in a run for the opposition.
I think it got Bish in the head too. It might have split him open as well. So, but this is the thing, defense. It's just error after error. It costs us runs. It costs everybody runs.
And these are 2 of the most defensively sound teams who now in back-to-back innings have made an error. I don't know if we have do we have a shot of bit? What's going on? There it is.
Moving 51 out the way. I think it just got him on the beak of the nose.
His tooth is what we're hearing from.
Tooth?
No, I don't know.
Got him in the tooth.
Someone just came back and said something about his tooth. I don't know.
Oh, he's holding his mouth in that awkward way. Here's a look at the Turner's Real Estate replay. Kosei is going to want this throwback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Popped right into his mouth, I think. And then he just made a throw, and that got away from Cooper Peacock. That advanced the runners to second to third when it should have been the third out.
Should have been the third out, yep. Well, he'll be fine. He's not going to get any prettier, so it...
He's out of the game, though. It's his
is it?
eye. I don't know if you have a shot of that, but that's a big loss for Kensington. That's their captain.
Oh.
Yo, wow.
It's a beauty.
He's got himself a shiny. You should have seen the other guy.
Yeah. Barroom brawl, that is.
Oh, my goodness. That ballooned quickly.
Wait till you put some ice on it, it'll even get bigger.
Oh, that is going to hurt Michael Bishop.
So now they need to make a few changes out there. So what do we got going here, Eric? Who's gone out the first?
Well, I don't know. Does Gallagher go over
No,
to
it doesn't look like it.
No.
Bryce Allen.
Bryce Allen over at first base? Oh, yeah, I was wondering, do they put Gallagher at first and Spratt or something? I don't know. But Bryce Allen is going to first base. And now it is runners on second and third, a tied ball game. Should have been the third out. It wasn't. And now Goodwood are really threatening. And Jack Bushell, who anytime he's got a camera on him, has done something special, whether it be a big defensive play.
I was just about to say, this is this sort of situation in Super League, isn't it? So let's see what he can bring to the club game here and try and score a couple of runs.
Takes a pitch, and it's a strike. He's 1 for 2 today, Jack Bushell. On the season, Jack Bushell hitting 269. Now, that has quickly gone up because he started off something like 1 for 12 or 13 or something like that, and he's really worked his way up. He's 7 for 26 now, so Bushell just getting more and more confident at this level. And you saw him shine in Super League. Won a couple player of the games this year.
Yes, he did.
Shout out to Jay Campbell. There's Jack Bushell. Big moment for Goodwood in a 2-2 game. Swings through it, and it's a strikeout for Riley Moore. So Kensington limit the damage. It's 2-2. But in the 7th, Goodwood will have their top of their lineup coming up. But it is monkey see, monkey do in this game. Think about this. You got a home run from Hutchings. Response from Kensington was a solo shot from Riley Moore. 1-1.
Yep.
And then when it should have been the third out on that drop third strike, Kensington score a run off of it, 2-1. And then in this inning, should have been the third out on that play from Suzuki over to first. Run scores, and the captain's also taken out there too. These teams are mirroring each other right now.
They are. It could be very interesting, and it could be mirrored that this is the way it ends as well. Could be 2-2. Have we had any draws this year, Eric?
We have not had any draws
Even
in the
Tuesday?
Div 1 men's competition.
Not on
In
the
the
Tuesday
women's,
as
we've
well?
had a couple draws. No, we haven't had. We've only had. This will be the third Tuesday slate of games we've had this season, so we haven't had too many. But draws. This is when draws tend to happen because you run out of time.
Yeah, but it's 7 innings. It's over anyway, so it's there's plenty of time. It's only 20 past 7, so
we could play 8.
Yeah, you get plenty of time, and it'll just be down to the 7 innings and who wins.
Yeah, we have not had a tie yet this season, but we've commentator cursed all game long. We talked about how pitchers aren't giving up many big hits, and then back-to-back home runs happen in innings. Then we talk about the defense has been pretty good. Look at these ERAs and the runs allowed. Very minimal errors on both teams that cost them. Then back-to-back plays that cost them. Now we're talking about a goddamn tie. You know what's going to happen?
It's going to be a tie. And what about round the grounds, Eric? Where are we at?
Yeah, I'm just going to try to figure out an update for you now. Sturt lead East Torrens 5-0 right now. That's a big one for Sturt, though. They're starting to get some bodies back. Golden Grove, that's all done in versus Northern Districts. Henley and Grange are now into the bottom of the 5th at Southern Districts, and it's a 1-1 game. I don't know Port Adelaide and Adelaide. Maybe you can text your friend Rue. He would be coaching anyways.
He may well be pitching.
And Adelaide are playing Woodville. Oh, no, Adelaide, Port Adelaide. Adelaide are playing. Port Adelaide and Woodville are playing Glenelg at Glenelg.
Woodville are playing Glenelg or Port Adelaide?
Woodville playing Glenelg. And Port Adelaide are playing Adelaide. Riley Moore, who hit a home run his last at-bat, sends it to the outfield, and an adventurous run by Matt Hutchings, who makes the play. It's 1 down. Quick game tonight. Greg Moselle up to that. This is the pitcher's part of the lineup for Kensington. This one upstairs. Moselle has a hit today, and he's taken 2 pitch inside. You assume he'll get the ball on Thursday night for a big game versus Henley and Grange. I could manage Kensington teams with their pitching staff the next little league. Moore, Moselle, Moore, Moselle, Moore, Moselle,
Yeah,
and Carfey and Todd Marshall in relief where required. Walk, though, and Greg Moselle's aboard. He's on the second time tonight.
Now, I can assure you that he is not going to be stealing any bases.
That would be the ultimate commentator's curse now.
Oh, my God. Mosey, don't do it to me. Has he got any stolen bases? He has got... no.
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 Nick Carfora up to bat. He's 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out to second. 7, 8, 9 for Kensington today are a combined 0 for 6. Everybody in the top 6 except for Michael Bishop have a run, and Mosey had a big lead on that one too.
He did. I thought he was going to take off then. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening?
Something weird happening over at Kensington. Swing and a miss. Dunny, they got the barbecue going. You can
Doesn't
smell
it smell
It
good?
smells good.
Smells great.
Hurry up, boys. Finish the game. Let me eat. That's how you know you don't have COVID.
When you can still smell your food.
You still smell the ballpark food.
I'm okay then.
Please don't take my advice as official health advice. I know many of you watching on the live stream might, but
Dr. Bolner.
Dr.
Is that what
Ball,
he's saying?
yeah, not a doctor. If the bottom of the lineup can generate something, just like Goodwood did in that last inning, would set up a top of the lineup showdown. Makes some contact, and it might find a gap, and it does. Nick Carfora has a base hit. Every pitcher in this game now has a hit. And it's runners on first and second. Interesting. So Cooper Peacock will step to the plate with Fitzy just getting a quick little reset after allowing a walk and a hit. I'd be interested to see how many times, given that Fitzy's numbers are minuscule this year in terms of walks and hits, how many times has he allowed back-to-back hits and runs?
Yeah, wouldn't be many, I wouldn't think.
Because even today, in the first inning, a walk, and then nothing happened of it. Today, he allowed back-to-back soft contact hits in the second inning, and then a bunch of outs. He allowed a hit, nothing back-to-back, a home run, nothing back-to-back. Again, today, even just that, this is the second time that's happened today. It just doesn't happen that often for a guy that doesn't allow a whole lot this year.
I mean, the advantage he's got here is working to the bottom of the lineup, so he's relying on just getting some outs. But again, if your bottom of your lineup can get some sneaky hits, that's when you win a lot of games.
Well, Peacock and Platten are due up here. And he makes some contact. It's over to Bushel. They get one. Cake Bread over to first, and he's safe. It was nearly the second double play that Peacock would have grounded into, but he legs that out. It'll go down as a fielder's choice. Runners will advance to third, but it is the second out, and Jack Platten comes up to bat. If Platten gets out, we'll head to the seventh in terms of monkey see, monkey do game. Both teams will have their leadoff hitters to start the game in the seventh in a tie game. We may as well have just started in the seventh and not played the first six.
It's like a late minute basketball game. Just watch the last 30 seconds. That's when it all happens, right?
That is when it's all happening. You wouldn't be you wouldn't be pounding the overs in this game before it started.
Definitely not.
What would the line have been for this
5.
game?
Yeah,
You reckon 5.5?
Maybe, yep.
A 7-inning game, you might even take a run off. Might even be 4.5 given the team's combined ERAs.
Yeah.
Could it have been a 4.5 line in our super betting SA State League brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies? Jack Platten puts it up the middle. Bushel flips a second, and he makes the play, gets the out. We've played 6, Kensington 2, Goodwood 2. It's 2 teams near the top going head-to-head, and we'll take a look at the replay real quick. We'll be back. Anything you can do, I can do the same. That's pretty much been what the age-old expression has been for these 2 clubs in this game. Welcome to the 7th and final inning of this Twilight League game. 2 teams battling near the top of the standings, 2 of the best that will be contenders near the end. It's going down to the wire. Both teams starting at the top of the lineup in the 7th inning. Both teams scored their first runs by virtue of a solo shot. Both teams scored their second runs by virtue of an error on what would have been the 3rd and final out. Not much between
Groundhog Day, really, isn't it?
It is ridiculous.
It is Groundhog Day.
Owen Hughes is 1 for 3. Both pitchers have been pretty good. Both have allowed 1 earned run. Both are racking up the strikeouts.
Ooh. 3-0. That makes it interesting.
That makes it really interesting. Owen Hughes is aboard.
4 straight to the leadoff guy. That's not the greatest start for Kensington at the top of the 7th.
It's been weird to watch. You see Cooper Peacock right now hand back his sunglasses that he's been wearing. It's been interesting to see players like Peacock and different players in the field. They've been adjusting what eyewear they've been wearing. Some just glasses, then sometimes sunglasses, then sometimes nothing at all. The light is swirling, if you can describe it as that, at this ballpark.
Yeah, the trees come into play a bit, and the sun gets stuck in them. So you do have to make some adjustments at times to how bright it is. So interesting there, Josh fake bunted, but I don't really think in a situation like this. But that's 5 in a row, so he'll be taking a pitch, I think, until he gets a strike. That's 6. So there's no chance that Josh is swinging until Riley throws a strike, and if he doesn't, he's just going to walk the first 2 hitters. So Josh may pretend to think he's going to hit here, but he's been around a long time, and there's no chance he's swinging at any pitch anytime soon.
Finally gets the strike, and just like you said, he wasn't even thinking about it.
No, wasn't thinking. So that's 1 and 6 now in the ball to strike ratio. So now he'll knuckle down and look for something to groove and hit a gap.
2 balls, 1 strike. And he lays down the bunt. Gallagher's going to get the lead off at 2. Can they turn the double? That one zips away. So another errant throw, kind of on a rush job over at second, and it's going to put a runner in scoring position after all that. So it was job done.
Yeah, it was job. The thing is, all Josh was trying to do there was to get the runner at second base, and the play that Kensington then made, they still had the runner at second base. So that's a big error, right? The first baseman's got to stop that ball, leave it in front of him, leave the double play open, because they're in the same situation anyway. Josh is at second with 1 out, so it would have been the same thing if he got the bunt down properly anyway.
This is what he was trying to achieve.
Correct, exactly.
But Kensington had an opportunity to turn 2 and couldn't. Will that hurt? Because now Riley Moore and Steph Welsh two of the premier batters in this competition. I don't know how many more people you would really like up to bat. Maybe Michael Bishop and
Well, I said to
Gallagher.
who would I like up to bat? Jeremy Cresswell, who's not playing in this game.
That's what you said.
That's what
clutch.
I said in the bullpen. He'd be the guy in this situation that you want to.
I did say that.
To
That
score the
was the
run.
scenario I gave you. Tie game, runner on second, 1 or 2 outs. Who
Yep.
do you want him to bat? And you
Yep.
said Creswell.
Yep, and you can tell by his numbers where he's not playing tonight. He's hitting .438 with 21 hits. So
Riley Moore, though, his numbers play too.
yeah, Riley's going. He's going okay as well. So it's a big situation here to try and stop a team from scoring. Wow, that's close.
Kensington wanted it. They didn't get it. Yeah, Riley Moore going really well. He's hitting .371 with 5 home runs and 18 RBIs.
And this is a situation where he loves. Don't be surprised if he hits a 2-run bomb here.
Riley Moore swings at one, going towards left field. Moving to make the catch. He couldn't quite hold on was Moselle. Runner will advance around third. Cakebread coming in. His play at the plate. And he takes a huge collision, but he gets in there safely. Cakebread dives in head first, takes a knock, but scores the run. And Goodwood are up 3-2.
There you go. You put your body on the line. Mosey thought Mosey caught that ball there, and it popped out of his glove late. Landed on his head. It's like running into a truck.
Let's see that replay again.
He was safe. Got under the
He was
tag.
safe, but yeah, I want to see how close that was.
I don't think it was reasonably actually that close in the end. But it gives Goodwood the lead in a tight game. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, throw was in a bit late. So Goodwood have their noses in front once again. Hutchings gave them a 1-0 lead earlier. Then they were down 2-1, but a run in the 6th and now a run in the 7th. Good running from Josh Cakebread. Teams both taking their bodies on the line. How's Michael Bishop, their captain? He's out of the game because he took a ball to the eye. He's got a nice swollen eye over in the first base dugout. Now Cakebread, we'll see if he's taken a knock. If you'd assume or you'd hope he'd be okay to come out defensively, but Goodwood have a 3-2 lead. 3-2 lead on the scoreboard. Oh, that slips away, and that could be costly as well because it's going to put Riley Moore into scoring position with just 1 out. So a fly ball from Steph Welsh could put Goodwood up 4-2. It's a 3-2 lead for Goodwood, not Kensington on your scoreboard.
And again, that makes a massive difference because now all you need to do is put the ball in the outfield to score a run, right? You've got to keep those balls in front of you.
Gets the pitch, strike 2. It's a full count.
Because all Welshie's thinking now, hit the ball in the outfield, score another run, it's 4-2. You'd know, Eric, how many different ways are there to score from third than from second?
Oh, a couple. Catcher has to be on the money too, and this hit hard over towards center field. Moving back to the wall and leaping up. Platten couldn't bring it in. That knocks off the wall. That's going to score a run, and Stephen Welsh will stand in with an RBI to make it 4-2. That might be the insurance mark that Goodwood needed.
Yeah, you got to make that catch, I think. Not sort of sure. Drifted a little bit on it. Probably no replay, but just drifted and went over his head, so it's now 4-2.
Hutchings, who's 2 for 3 with a home run and a single. Still only 1 out. The walk to Hughes. Kensington looked like they were about to turn a double play, but it ended up being a throwing error. Advanced Cakebread to second. Riley Moore had a ball to left field that bounced in and out of Greg Moselle's glove on a very difficult diving attempt, to his credit. But that scored Josh Cakebread, and now Riley Moore, and maybe a misplay in center field, has made it a 4-2 game. And Kensington, who had a 2-1 lead, and they had the third out in the last inning, are now behind the 8 ball. Hard hit ball back towards center field. Platten tracks this one, makes the play. Welsh looked like he was tagging. He retreats back, but that's out number 2. Michael Gain now up to bat. Still a runner in scoring position. We could have a jumble at the top of the standings if everything keeps holding on. Especially if Southern Districts can end up beating Henley and Grange, who are now 1-1 in the 6th. Sturt are just about to beat East Torrance, so they'll move up. We could have a log jam. Jammed, but it might find a distance. Welsh getting the wave around. It's bobbled in center field, and it's 3 runs in the inning for Goodwood.
It's gone very quiet here all of a sudden, Eric.
It has at the home ground.
But that's where, you know, the defensive mistakes are so important. They cost you so many runs.
We've seen it tonight.
Yeah, we talk about free bases.
We saw that in the last Twilight live stream that we did as well. Remember at Henley and Grange, and Sturt came down in that last inning, and again, it was defense. That Sturt error cost them, and Henley and Grange came back and won that game.
Correct. Got to play good defense. You can't win if you can't play good defense.
Be willing to wager the team that plays the cleanest in the finals is probably going to win.
No doubt. Because your pitchers don't have to throw as many pitches. They keep fresh. You get, you get guys that can, you don't have to throw more pitches than you need to pitch.
Chopped over to short. Suzuki flips to second. They get out of the inning, but now Kensington are going to have some work to do. Goodwood score 5. Again, it was an error, a throwing error that put Cakebread on second instead of it being a double play. Cakebread ends up scoring on Greg Moselle at a ball pop in and out of his glove on the Riley Moore hit. Then Stephen Welsh gets a double off the wall that was over Platten's head. That scored more. And then that little single from Michael Gain makes it a 5-2 gain. Now the top of the lineup for Kensington have to go to work. And fans, everyone watching at home, clubs around there, make sure you get in touch with us, myself, Spacequake Sports, Dave Muggleton, if you want to bring a live stream to life at your club. Muggleton out there taking some good photos for the club as well. You can partner with another club and do it in association with them. But big thanks to Kensington for coming out here. We'd love to do more of these live streams, whether it be on a Tuesday night, maybe a rescheduled game on a Thursday sometime. If you have a big milestone coming up, we can work that broadcast around you and your club and give you something, a little memory from the season so far. So certainly get in touch with us, but you get some entertaining ball games like this one tonight, 5-2 for the Indians. And a big shout out, of course, to Kensington sponsors, William Buck Financial, Turner's Real Estate, AFS Fire Services, Hard Block Bitcoin Exchange, Tony and Mark's Glenunga, Zia's Eatery Glenunga, and Tam Harkin, thanks for coming on the broadcast as well. But now the stage is set, maybe for a little bit of drama. Kensington chasing 3 runs after they just allowed 3 in the 7th. Their top of the lineup goes to work. Kosei Suzuki will go on the mound. Fitzgerald steps up. He's struck out 8 batters on the night. Remember, the last inning started with a 4-pitch walk from Riley Moore. It's ball 1 for Fitzgerald. Well, it won't repeat itself. Suzuki scored today. He's 1 for 2 with a walk, a double. Chops it away. It's a 2-2 count.
It's a big first out here. It gives Kensington a bit of momentum if they can get a runner on. Suzuki can run a bit, so and that gives the opportunity to get to the 3 and 4 guy up. I guess the disadvantage for Kensington is that their normal 4-hitter and Bishop is out of the game now, so it makes it a little bit less stressful on Fitzy. It's a good pitch.
9 strikeouts for Tom Fitzgerald tonight.
Just takes a bit off that, throws that little slider on the outside edge, and Suzuki's out in front of it and 1 out.
Nick Platten, he is 1 for 3 in the game. Although he was the guy that was up to bat when that drop third strike happened.
And the big situation with that, if you follow baseball and understand the game, is getting Suzuki out doesn't allow Gallagher to come up to the plate to tie it up with runners at first and second. You know, Splat gets on here. Yep, Gallagher hits a 2-run bomb. Doesn't make any difference, right? It's 5-4. They're still down. But having the leadoff guy get out, it doesn't give Gallagher the opportunity to tie the game up.
It's a good point. If you're in Goodwood's dugout, you're probably saying as long as we get one of those first 2 guys out, we're still in control here.
Yep. And it does really hurt having Bish out of the game because you just don't throw to Galley. You don't throw to Galley to get to the next guy because it's not Bishop. It's a guy they brought into the game, nowhere near as good as Bishop, no disrespect, but you just don't throw to him. You just throw around him to get to the next guy.
Yeah,
you don't let Galley beat you, ever.
Don't give him the opportunity, don't give him the time of day?
No.
Platten needs to get on base, though, to at least put some pressure on this Goodwood team. Strikeout number 10 for Fitzgerald. Doing a number versus former team right now. A big game for Fitzy, and they're down to their final out, but Austin Gallagher is going to be a tough one to get. But I imagine they'll pitch him pretty fine.
Hey,
1-1 in the 7th over at Southern Districts, by the way, with Henley and Grange.
Oh, that could be the first draw.
I love this. Galley knocks it foul. He's 1 for 3. Bryce Allen standing on deck. Gallagher down to his final strike.
It's good pitching there, you know, off-speed pitches there by Fitzy. Still thinking about the game, even late in the game when they're 5-2 in front with 2 out. So he knows, you know, Galley's sitting fastball, nothing but fastball, and he's throwing change-up. Galley's been out in front of both of them, and now I wouldn't be surprised if he goes that up around the letters on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and try and get Galley to swing through it. It was there, it just wasn't quite a strike. But he had that idea and intention because Galley, you know, it's a hard pitch to hit for any hitter. So that ball up around the letters is exactly what he tried to do there. He just didn't throw a strike.
So what do you go back to him with now?
Oh, probably something low and in. Probably that backdoor slider onto his back foot probably here. Riley's gone down a little bit, so another change-up. You just don't give him anything hard to hit in that sort of situation. So
yeah, you figured it would be off-speed there and low.
And here again, it'll be off-speed again here. Probably, I don't think he'll throw anything hard for him to hit again.
Full count, you won't think this would be anywhere near the zone intentionally.
No, you try and get
or
him
middle of the zone, I should say.
Swing at a pitcher's pitch, not a hitter's pitch. There is that off-speed pitch. But that's okay, it doesn't hurt, you know. And then you get to this, the next hitter up, and as I said, it's not Bishop, so you'd always let Galley walk to get to the next guy in this situation where Bishop's come out of the game. It's just smart by Goodwood and smart by Fitzy.
Bryce Allen will come in for a pinch hit after Bishop left the game in the 6th inning after taking a ball off the eye off a nasty hop. Bryce Allen has 39 plate appearances this year. He's hitting 162. He does have 4 RBIs. Swings through it. 1 ball, 1 strike, and this might be a matter of Fitzy just trying to blow something by him. Two 1 count. Well, it's a 3-1 count. He's going to get something to hit. Now, Riley Moore is standing on deck. He does have a home run in the game.
It does. Makes it very interesting. Because then you do get a guy that's a little bit hot at the moment. So if he can happen to walk here, it makes it a whole interesting game. And there it is.
So back-to-back walks with 2 outs from Tom Fitzgerald. That's going to prompt manager Ben Wigmore go to settle things down. Riley Moore's 2 for 3 on the day, and he's got a home run. So you know he's confident. So this game has the tying run at the plate, as time and innings are coming to be a factor here. Sturt have defeated East Torrens 7-2. Goodwood obviously lead here. Henley and Grange with the winners, and Golden Grove won big over Northern Districts.
So Fitzy's pitch count's at 116, so he's only got 9 pitches. They have to take him out anyway. So that's another scenario.
125 the pitch count.
125, he's already at 116, so he can't go over that. He's obviously getting tired, and this makes it very, very interesting. I reckon this is his last hitter either way.
You reckon?
Yep.
Well, Riley Moore, he's got a home run today. He's got the bat in his hand, and he's got 2 runners on. Swings at the first pitch. It was jammed. Stephen Welsh makes the play, and Goodwood escape. A huge win for Goodwood on the road versus Kensington. It'll jolt them right back into a position to move themselves in to second place with that game in hand. And again, the top of the table gets even tighter.
Yeah, that makes it an interesting season, doesn't it? That's for sure. So as I said, it's another one that Goodwood gets up on Kensington, and it pulls that top 6 even closer.
Really, when it comes down to it, defensive mistakes end up being the story.
Yeah, and you get that in club ball. Unfortunately, you do get that in club ball in some cases. But tonight was very evident that, how many of the runs were earned? Probably one. One of the 5 or one of the 7 in the end were earned runs. So, it does make a big difference, and that's why defensively, if you can play good defense, you win a lot of games in these sort of situations. So, and both teams didn't play great defense in the end, but in the end, Goodwood played better defense than Kensington did. Nothing away from both pitches. They were fantastic on the night as well. They 19 strikeouts between the two of them. So it was certainly a pitcher's duel, and Goodwood just got away late there in the end and picked up the win and moved themselves up the ladder.
5-2 win for Goodwood. Barry, I can't even speak now. I'm so overwhelmed by this.
Thank you very much. Wrap up before we run off?
Yeah, Henley and Grange still 1-1 in the 7th, so jump on Game Changer for that. Sturt have won, and Golden Grove have beat Northern Districts. I'm awaiting for scores on Adelaide and the Woodville game. But that'll do it for us from beautiful Kensington Ballpark. Thank you very much to William Buck, Turner's Real Estate, AFS Fire Service, Hard Block, Bitcoin Exchange, Tony and Mark's Glenunga, Zia's Eatery Glenunga, and of course, Tam Harkin for joining us. Of course, to you, Michael Dunn, for joining us, the team at Spacequake. I'm Eric Ballnar. Thank you very much from beautiful Adelaide, saying good night. We'll see you next time.
See you tomorrow night on In the Bullpen.